You know, how in most stories, some nobody dies and get a second shot at life? Yeah, well, this isn't that. Our main guy, he wasn't a loser. He was the last, terrifying red dragon in existence. The kind of beast that made humans tremble. And what did those humans do? They wiped out every dragon until he was the only one left. His final life's mission? Wiped them out in return. He fought like hell, but in the end, sheer numbers brought him down. As the darkness closed in, he heard voices. And just like that, boom, new life unlocked. Only problem? The fearsome red dragon has been reincarnated as a human baby. And not just any baby, a tiny, squishy, helpless thing being hugged and kissed by his human father. Imagine going from a legendary death machine to being burped on someone's shoulder. Rage level, maximum. Still, the dragon tries to unleash his ultimate weapon, his incinerating breath, the same one that once turned armies into ash. But instead of fiery doom, just a puff of air, and maybe some spit, straight into Dad's face. Yeah, the mighty dragon's godly breath is now a toddler's sneeze. Then comes the real boss fight, his mother. And she's got that vibe, the kind of woman who could end you without raising her voice. Even the dragon's instincts are screaming danger. But instead of smiting him, she strokes his cheek and calls him by his new name, Ray, which, to a proud red dragon, is just insulting. Still, he's not entirely mad about reincarnation. It's a second chance to wipe out humankind. And in his mind, that's the ultimate quest. While his parents coo over him, Ray is mentally drafting the genocide of an entire species. Dad, meanwhile, is just wondering why his baby looks like he's plotting world domination. But as much as he hisses and growls in adorable baby noises, the warmth in his parents' eyes is unsettling. No fire, no claws, and now, no defenses against affection. He drifts off to sleep thinking about how pathetic humans are and how much stronger he'll get. Time skips forward, and Ray's grown a bit. He's learned his parents' names, Scarlet and Jake, and honestly, they're kind of great. His mom is beautiful and caring, and his dad's this broad-shouldered warrior type the village clearly respects. They get along with everyone, often chatting about swordsmanship and adventure gossip. Ray, however, is focused on more pressing matters like food. Crawling over to his mom for a snack somehow impresses the villagers, who think it's amazing a baby knows what he wants. But what really catches their eye is his hair. It's a vivid red now, and that doesn't match his parents at all. Dad explains it just started turning red a few days ago. To Ray, that's a huge win. It means his powers might be returning. Outside, he overhears villagers whispering about curses and bad omens. And honestly, he's proud of the dark aura they think he has. But his parents? Still not scared. They just see their messy, hungry little boy, even when he eats like a starving wolf and wrecks the table. No matter how much chaos he causes, or how many accidental face-piss incidents happen with Dad, they treat him with endless love. And for a dragon who once thrived on fear and destruction, being loved like this, that's the real torture. But maybe, just maybe this hell called family is about to change him. Or he'll burn it all down. So here's the thing. Adventurers in this world? Rare. Mages? Even rarer. Which makes Ray's mom, Scarlet, a legit mage. Kind of big deal. And for our reincarnated red dragon, that's great news. Why? Because if he can get back his full dragon magic, revenge becomes way easier. Think less hard work and more instant human barbecue. Fast forward, and our tiny murder machine is now 2 years old. That's the age when every kid gets to join the mage evaluation. The big test to see if you've got mana. For Ray, this isn't just a test. It's step one toward reclaiming his throne at the top. Jake sends him off with a wave and a good luck, while Ray clings to Scarlet's arms like the world's most dangerous teddy bear. He's convinced, descendant of a mage, reincarnated dragon, he's passing this test with flying colors. After a nap in the cart, they roll into town. Ray stretches, yawns, and remembers there's only one thing holding him back. This frail little human body. Scarlet carries him through the busy marketplace, where adventurers are selling shiny beast crystals like it's a luxury boutique. Then drama. A beggar approaches one of the adventurers asking for food, and instead of kindness, the guy boots him away and tells him to stay out of his business. The crowd mutters about the beggar's bad luck, but Ray's watching closely. In his eyes, it's proof that even among humans, the strong mock the weak. It hits a nerve. Back in his dragon days, he protected the helpless, did his part to keep balance. And it still ended in tragedy. That memory stings, but he shakes it off. He's got a test to crush. Finally, they arrive at the Roland Academy, and it's packed. Long lines of kids wait their turn, some walking away, beaming, others bawling their eyes out when they fail. One kid throws a tantrum about how unfair it all is, and Ray? He calls him an idiot in his head. Life's never been fair. Deal with it. And then it's time. The examiner calls the next name, Ray Talon. Scarlet steps forward, holding her red-haired little dragon in human form. His eyes are locked on the goal. The moment of truth has arrived. The moment of truth is here. The mage calls Ray forward and tells Scarlet to have him place his tiny hands on the crystal ball. Simple rules. If it glows, you've got magic. The color tells you your element. Ray straightens his little arms, ready to stun the entire academy. After all, he's not just any kid. He's a reincarnated red dragon. In dragons, they've got every kind of magic in the book. He's already picturing the gasps, the awe, the fear. Then something weird happens. Scarlet starts crying. Tears are running down her cheeks, and Ray figures. Yep, she's overwhelmed with pride. Maybe he's got the same magic as her. Maybe she's just that happy. Except nope. The crystal ball isn't glowing at all. Not even a flicker. The old wizard bursts his fantasy bubble with a blunt truth. Ray has no magic aptitude. Zero. Nada. Ray's mind short-circuits. How can the strongest red dragon in history be told he has no magic? That's like telling a fish it can't swim. Scarlet, clearly shocked, asks the wizard to double-check. After all, she graduated from this academy herself. Ray, meanwhile, is not having it. He smacks the crystal ball with his chubby hands like it personally insulted him. Clearly, the thing's broken. But the wizard just picks it up, shakes his head, and says there's nothing to be done. That's the last straw. Ray spits out his pacifier like a battle declaration and glares at the old man. Does this wrinkly human even know who he's talking to? He's the ruler of magic itself. In a fit of toddler rage, Ray tugs on the wizard's beard, yanks his mustache, anything to punish this liar who's clearly hiding his powers. Scarlet's mortified, trying to pull him away, but our boy's in full berserker mode. Inside, though, his pride is cracked. The idea that he, of all beings, could lack magic unthinkable. On the cart ride home, Ray sulks. Maybe heaven's punishing him for all the humans he killed in his past life. But then a thought sparks. Maybe this isn't punishment. Maybe it's a test. If he can't rule the world with magic, then fine. He'll just do it another way. Later at dinner, his eyes lock onto Jake. In broken, toddler speech, he makes his request, teach me to fight. Jake raises an eyebrow. Swordsmanship, and Ray's mind is already racing. If he can't be the world's greatest mage, then he'll become the world's most unstoppable swordsman. Revenge is still on the menu. We jump ahead, and Ray's grown a bit, still rocking that fiery hair, still fueled by that burning need for revenge. For the past 2 years, Jake's been teaching him swordsmanship. And let's just say, being the world's scariest dragon in your past life doesn't automatically make you a master with a wooden stick. Every duel ends the same way. Jake wins, Ray loses. Today, though, Ray's determined to finally land a hit. He studies his father's movements like a hawk. The plan? Wait for Jake's overhead swing, pivot, and strike at his side. Perfect in theory. In practice? His legs tangle like cheap earphones, and whack, Jake's wooden sword smacks him right on the head. Again. Next thing Ray knows, he's waking up in bed after apparently blacking out. Jake's chuckling, Scarlet's furious, and she's telling Jake to go easy because their son is only 4. Jake insists he's not being too hard. Ray's just still too young to control his body properly. Besides, they've still got a year before the big event. The night trials, the gateway into the elite Avery Night Academy. Ray hears this and doubts himself for a second, but then remembers. he's not some fragile human. He's a reincarnated red dragon. There's no way he's failing. He declares to his parents that he'll be the strongest person they've ever seen. To step things up, Jake presents him with a gift, a real sword. It's heavy, oversized, and completely awe-inspiring for Ray. Jake says it'll force him to build control faster. But that's not all. Jake has another surprise. They head to the storage room, and there it is, a magic puppet. Jake explains it's powered by magic and used by students of Avian Academy for training. Ray's suspicious. Sounds a little too convenient, but Jake tells him not to underestimate it. Challenge accepted. Ray winds up and strikes with all his strength, and the puppet immediately springs to life at level 1. Its shield blocks the hit, and in a blink, it knocks Ray's sword right out of his hands. Level 1 over. Ray defeated. Again. But Jake reassures him. If he can beat even the first level of this puppet, he'll be ready for the night trials. Plus, he had to call in a lot of favors to get it, so this is a big deal. Hearing that, Ray's eyes light up. The puppet might have won today, but in his mind, he's already picturing himself slicing through the night trials like a true dragon warrior. Ray's out in the mountains again, sweat dripping, sword swinging, and lungs burning. He's been training nonstop, determined to finally prove himself, but his body just won't keep up with his mind. Every swing feels heavier than it should, and the frustration is eating at him. If things keep going this slow, he's not just going to lose to that training puppet. He can forget about revenge entirely. That's when a voice calls out from behind, making him tense up, sword at the ready. He spins and finds a blonde-haired girl standing there, hands raised in apology. She says her name's Amy. She lives in the village, and she only came over because she saw him practicing way out here in the mountains. Oh, and by the way, he might want to head home before sunset because magic beasts like to show up after dark. Ray's curious and a little impressed by how much she knows about the area. Turns out she works here harvesting fruits and vegetables, so she's seen it all. She offers to walk down with him, and along the way they swap names. Ray tells her his name, but she already knows it. Apparently, he's kind of famous in the village. The reason? Everyone respects his parents, especially his father, Jake Talone, the village's swordsman. But Ray? People whisper behind his back. His bright red hair, something no other human here has them convinced he's cursed. Some even say the curse might be contagious. It reminds Ray of his past life, of how humans painted red dragons as monsters when they were only protecting themselves. Red is supposed to mean strength, but to these people, it's a warning sign, and he's been paying the price for it ever since. Amy snaps him out of his thoughts by asking if he's been training for something. When he tells her he's aiming to become a swordsman, she's impressed. Then she casually drops that her brother's also taken the Knight Academy entrance exam, and that maybe they could train together sometime. But before Ray can respond, the sound of heavy footsteps cuts in. Amy's brother, Gary, storms up with 2 friends and instantly orders Ray to get away from his sister. Amy tries to defend him, but Gary ignores her, checking her hair to make sure it hasn't turned red for being near him. That's all it takes for his friends to pile on with insults, mocking Ray, calling him a burden, even telling him to leave the village. When they start talking about his parents, Ray's fist flies. One punch takes down one of the boys, and the force even sends Gary stumbling. Gary smirks, tosses aside his weapon, and challenges Ray to a bare-knuckle fight. Ray doesn't hesitate. He's not holding back either. The 2 trade blows, but Ray's human body can't keep pace, and a brutal hit from Gary sends him crashing to the ground. Blood in his mouth, pain everywhere, Ray still drags himself back up. But Gary's next words cut deeper than any punch. You'll never be a real swordsman. Just give it up. By the end of the fight, Ray's on the ground, barely conscious. Amy tears into her brother afterward, furious, but Gary brushes it off. Then, as he's walking away, he glances at his hand and realizes something. That first punch Ray landed, if Gary hadn't been wearing protective gear, would have broken his arm. Ray comes home looking like he just lost a fight with a wild boar. Mud caked on his clothes, cuts and bruises all over his face. Scarlet, busy cooking dinner, turns at the sound of the door and freezes. One glance, and she knows her son's been in a fight. Ray brushes it off, claiming it's just from training, but his mom's not buying it. She wonders if the village kids bullied him again, though Ray denies it with his usual stubborn pride. He insists he's a man now, and Jake, overhearing, can't help but praise his son's determination. Dinner's almost ready, but Ray isn't sitting down just yet. He's heading straight back to practice. His parents try to stop him, but he convinces them it'll be quick. In the storage room, he fires up the wooden training puppet on level 1. He knows its patterns now, dodging easily. He spots an opening, swings his sword, only for it to get stuck in a wooden beam. As he struggles to pull it free, the puppet slams him from behind. He goes down with a yelp. The next day, Ray heads to the mountains and spots Amy waiting. She shyly admits she wanted to see him and apologizes for Gary's behavior. Ray takes the blame himself, saying he just wasn't strong enough. Amy's eyes well up. She's softer than she lets on, but Ray awkwardly comforts her, deciding maybe he should learn how to deal with humans better. He grabs an apple from her basket, signaling that apology accepted, and she assures him Gary won't bother him again. From then on, Amy starts showing up every day, and Ray gets used to having her around. But peaceful days never last. One afternoon, armored soldiers ride up to the Talon home. Jake and Scarlet speak with their leader, who delivers grim news. Nearby villages have been attacked by something unknown. Survivors are too disoriented to explain what happened. It's bad enough that they're calling in adventurers. Scarlet insists on going with Jake, but he refuses. It's just recon, and someone needs to stay with Ray before his big test. She reluctantly agrees, but not without warning him to be careful. Later, Ray is training again, drenched in sweat and frustration. His eyes wander to Amy, sitting nearby with her nose buried in a book, and for some reason, his heart starts racing. He smacks himself to shake it off and tells her it's time to head home. On the walk back, he asks if she's ever been bullied for being around him. After all, people call him cursed because of his red hair. Amy doesn't hesitate. She tells him she thinks his hair is cool, not scary. More than that, she calls him special and tells him to be himself. Her words spark something. He remembers Gary telling him to focus on what he's good at. A smile spreads across his face, and he thanks her before running off. Back home, he heads straight to the storage room. This time, he activates the puppet and drops to the floor, literally. With the sword clenched in his mouth, he charges in on all fours, moving faster, more unpredictably, like a predator. He spots an opening and strikes with everything he's got. Level 1, cleared. Pumped by his success, he doesn't stop there. Without hesitation, Ray pushes the puppet to level 2.